Welcome to the Money Pig Podcast, presented by Goodwin Investment Advisory, where our mission is to lead you to financial pig, peace, independence, and generosity. I'm your host, Tim Goodwin. And welcome back to the Money Pig Podcast with the one, the only, Ray Brown. Pop-Up, how you doing today?
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy, oh, boy.
Yeah, doing really good. How about you?
Doing great. So we are going to be talking about helping our clients find, your rich or their rich. Before we get into that, though, Ray, is there anything interesting that you'd like to share with the audience that they can learn a little bit about you?
That's a great question. I don't know. You tell me. I mean, there's so many things going on.
Well, your wife doesn't currently live at home. That's interesting.
About to have a baby next days away.
Yeah, we're just going to go with that. We're going to keep the podcast
by the time this airs.
That's right. There may be a little baby boy, Henry.
Super exciting.
First one. That is exciting.
We're ready.
Super cool.
Got to get it going.
At the hospital, ready to go. So very excited about that. So, I don't know if I told you, I know we're kind of both into fashion, but I spent $80 on a belt last week. And my wife, Maureen, was like, that is a huge waste.
Took me a second. That's too much. Like, wait, what is? I was about to ask you, what was the belt?
Like the waist. My waist
like a needle point belt. Good Lord.
$80.
Goodness.
Right. Oh my gosh. All right, bringing it back here.
Shut him down.
helping you find your rich. So let's get this fantastic topic off to a good start here. So, Ray, when you first meet with a client, how do you help them discover what a rich life, I'm using air quotes here, what a rich life truly means to them personally?
Such a great thing. I think probably some of you listening may recall me asking you this in the past. Sometimes I'll say, Tara on our team, right, does an amazing job of just doing the first interaction with clients, that intro meeting. And so there's a really great question that she asked during that intro call where it says something along the lines of, hey, if we were meeting here 3 years from now, looking back at that time, what does it look like to you? And I like to ask that question as well, just to kind of unpack, call it a vision casting kind of assessment, but it's like gets people thinking ahead. And so coming around this, what does it mean to live richly? Obviously different to everyone, but kind of starts with step one, which is just contemplating what that looks like and envisioning the future.
It's such a powerful question. I find if I don't ask that question, often the default is kind of something like recent or urgent that's going on in their lives. And I'm interested in that too. And I think we are. And certainly if there's something urgent, we want to handle it. But when we say like, looking ahead 3 years, where you want to be and where do you need to be happy with the progress, all of a sudden what really emerges from their heart and from what they're sharing is about important things.
Right.
And what that progress needs to look like.
And importance is not just, grow the money. It's like, what does that mean? It's like, of course, you want that to happen as well. That's a big part of it. But aside from that, it's more than just a dollar amount. And so, what does a rich life look like? It's, being able to retire early or at a specific age or being able to spend X amount during retirement to do the fun things you've put off and that previously maybe you've had the funds to do, but you've not had the time to do. And so now entering that next chapter, what does that look like? I mean, there's so many things, again, totally different to each person. But
It's wild too, because like some of us just are so good at hustling. We got our nose down to the grindstone. We're going around and around and around. We hope that we're, making some grain and it's making a pile, but we're like, I just feel like sometimes clients don't even stop and look up and go, okay, how much grain do I have? How much gravy's over there? How much have I put away? So,
not what you want to do with a Sunday afternoon is sit at the kitchen table and try to figure that out. And so,
absolutely. So they're sitting there talking to you about it. So I imagine too, like a lot of our clients have, we get this. They kind of feel like they've been building wealth quietly. Like I'm saying, like nose to the grindstone for years, decades, right? And often don't really think of themselves as rich, right? They haven't really measured this pile of grain behind them. So how do you help them recognize and celebrate what they've accomplished?
Love that you said celebrate. Like I think that's the biggest part of all this. At the end of the day, why are we doing any of this? Why does this stuff matter? And the planning and paying attention to where we're at right now and where we're going, keeping the eye on the ball, that's in front of us as well as the one that's coming at you. It's just, another fun thing in the process. So I think for me, the process begins with, obviously getting to know the client, understanding where they're at, where they're planning to go. But then something I said to someone the other day was like, oh, how do you know like when you can retire? It's like, well, technically any of us can retire tomorrow. You just may not be able to spend very much, And so it's like that's a really retirement it's not an age, it's that financial number. And so honing in on that. But to celebrate it, we love to just, build out that balance sheet. We're looking at all the assets, whether it's things we manage for a client or stuff that they're holding away. We always say, keep your emergency fund where it's at. We do not need to have our hands in that. We kind of help structure some things, but certain assets that we'll manage for someone, we want to also include those other things like your home value and all those other great assets in the plan. And then it's fun to track some of those milestones celebrated on screen. I know we've yesterday got a little loud in our lobby because we have a big bell in the lobby. And I heard someone maybe got an eardrum ruptured.
Who would have installed such a ridiculously large bell in our
silly
lobby? Yeah. So we did. It's actually one of my first clients. She's been a client since we looked it up September 2004.
Dang.
Yeah. So she's been here almost 21 years. And she finally, it was a lot of hard work. Justin works with that relationship now primarily. And we've had, I think, something like 4 different meetings trying to say, hey, this pile of grain is big enough. And we need to celebrate and you're ready to retire. So she agreed that she's going to turn in her notice to her employer next week. Her friends have already started planning a retirement party. So she said she better have retired before the party. She's going to feel like that's not right.
Yep.
And so we have a bell where clients can ring it if they're retiring. Let's say they paid off their house, or maybe they're, a certain amount of debt goal that they were trying to pay off. But really too, she had to hit kind of a milestone in wealth that was really meaningful to her. And so,
that's different for everyone too, right? It's like, what is I got to cross the million mark. It's like, well, we've got clients who have million plus, and it's like, well, then it's the 2 or it's the 5 or it's the 10 mark. It's like, there's always, maybe it's the first 500,000. It can totally be different for everyone, but it's important to chart that progress over time, and it feels good to celebrate.
It does. Yeah.
Each day
she really celebrated. My ear, as you mentioned, was really close to that bell. I didn't realize she was really going to go at it. Everybody's got meetings in the building. Like, it's not a fire drill. We got a client celebrating.
Please. I was in a meeting with a different client. They're looking around. What is going on? I mean, at the end of the day, it's a silly bell, but the moment is so important. It's
she was
taking
excited.
that pause and just spending those moments. But I think the real reward just comes from like seeing folks have confidence. I've had a lot of conversations lately with some newer clients that, hiring us from the start. It's, gosh, I want to retire, but I don't think I can. And watching that evolution of new relationship grow over time. It's like by the, 4th or so session, it's like, okay, finally this is starting to click. I'm now seeing it. So it's like just helping the person unpack some of that and figure out what the future is going to look like.
I think you were talking about it before too. It's like when you get all these pieces together, you're like the house and, the 401k, the cash, you get it all into a plan and you start to see some of these projections. You're right. You start to go, wait a second, I could retire now if I moved into a box, but in 10 years, if I retire, I can keep my house. So
it's funny. Yeah. And just the same kind of thing happens with just compound interest. It's what's the old quote is the 7th wonder of the world. That's compounding interest. It's just one of those things that until you break out a compound interest calculator and actually look at it, speaking of first child on the way, grandma the other day was like, well, if I put $100 every month into an account on his birthday and that month, what does that look like at age 18? And you see that magic number, but also what does it look like at age 25? And it's like, whoa, $100 a month can turn into $300,000. Awesome. Like just that jaw drop moment. And so the same happens with your nest egg. It's like if you're looking at a 401k or any investment or even the value in your home today versus 10, 15, 20, 25 years from now.
It's just hard to do it in your head. Right. And so like you're saying, use a calculator or put it in a plan. You can see where these projections go into the future. That's awesome. So Ray, when someone comes to you, they're worried about retirement. What steps do you give them, like to give them this confidence that they can retire richly and, not outlive their money?
Yeah. Step 1, I say is, like I kind of mentioned earlier, just contemplate the future. Begin now. Start today. It's like design that look. It's again, retirement by design. It looks totally different to every person, but
it does.
You got to have a plan. You got to be focused on what it's going to look like and what you want it to be. And there's no right or wrong answers along the way. And so step 1 is just spending a few moments contemplating what that is, what it looks like. And then we can help kind of reverse engineer or back into the design of, obviously income's a big part of the future, but those income goals and all the other things that come with it. So just start, I think, start to plan.
And so I think when you're doing that with clients, not only when this plan kind of gets built out, they're getting a sense of confidence. I imagine they're also getting a sense of peace.
Yeah.
Right. And we talk about the good life pyramid, and at the bottom of the pyramid, really trying to help our clients, manage the money, reduce the debt, increase the wealth, cover risks and things like that. And when you start to really check those things off, this it creates kind of this environment, I think, for peace to come in. So
it starts too with just different little boxes along the way. It's like, at first it's like, okay, the big idea, I've got to retire. Okay, great. But there's a lot more to it. It's like, oh shoot, 10 minutes into this, it's, how are we going to pay for health insurance? We're retiring before age 65, before Medicare starts. Like,
right.
Oh gosh. And then what if I need long-term care? It's always that what if, what if I want to leave something to the grandchildren? What if I want to help with college? It's like, so there's so many other things to unpack along the way, but that's just part of that journey and that runway. It's starting today, envisioning the future, and take it step by step.
So speaking of that, let's say you've got a client, you built out their plan, and, over time you're meeting with them and you're updating that plan. For a lot of folks, life can change pretty dramatically between the last time you met with them and the time you're meeting with them today.
They like to keep us busy.
That's right. So
making us work for it.
And whether they're in control of it or not, right? Taxes change, market changes, unexpected life events can change. So how are you pivoting from this planning that you did with them before in the midst of all these changes?
Yeah, we call it a dynamic plan for a reason.
Right.
I mean, it changes, it evolves, and some folks will look at it and say, okay, I've got to, actually was meeting with some gentleman yesterday that's, here's the plan and I can only spend this much in retirement. It's like, no, like there's a threshold there, and so we can respect that as time goes on, but understanding that your plan is just that. We update it, it evolves. Had some other folks that are, sometimes people will call us and say, hey, I just want to do a one-time plan. And we've shifted now to say like, well, probably not in your best interest. Sure, we'd love to take a check from you and sit here and do the, 8 hours of planning that goes into putting together that initial plan. But now my new joke, I say it's outdated the second you walk out the door,
right? Because
life happens and the stock market does something that we weren't expecting this year. Again, we're never focused on the market in any given, short-term period, but it's a long-term play, but still there's variables and life happens and projects go over and how many remodel projects have gone over budget. And it's like, we can we roll with the punches and we adapt the plan. And so, and that's good and bad. It's not always a restrictive thing. I think sometimes it's, oh my gosh, you're on track at age 95 to have X amount of dollars. That's way too much to just, so like you need to increase spending. It's not always like this is problematic. We got to pivot and make a change. We're making a change, but it's in a better direction. What a fantastic problem to have.
So it's about planning, not the plan, the ongoing planning.
I like that.
And the changes and it being dynamic, right? And when these things change, and you can hear other episodes where we've talked about the different strategies that can be involved. Maybe the tax changes present new strategies. Maybe the market changes. Maybe some unexpected life events can present new strategies that weren't there before.
Yeah.
And so that's why that ongoing planning is necessary. The big, beautiful bill that passed made cuts permanent that before we were just guessing when we did planning that those cuts would stay. And let's say you hadn't paid a financial advisor for a plan a year or two ago, they may have said a projection that those cuts didn't stay or that they did stay. So it's dynamic just with the tax code.
Some of those conversions no longer apply and so many different phase outs and the rules around the limits. But we joke internally now. It's like that big, beautiful bill. We're calling it the CPA and Financial Advisor Job Security Act.
It definitely is.
You're not going anywhere.
I think if you want to meet with an advisor and you just want to get their advice to help you make a decision now, I think that makes sense. They can help you put things together, give you that confidence to make a decision now. But if you're like, hey, give me a plan. Okay, the plan says I can retire in 10 years with X dollars. Great. I'm going to take this plan and in 10 years it's going to work out. It's going to be different. Like you're saying, you've got to do the planning.
It's a relationship and there's so many other fun things that come up along the way. It's like there's long-time clients that have been with me, relationships I've been working with 3-4 years now. And it's okay. Like, all the time, we're pulling new things out of the treasure chest and let's start doing this. This is not something we've tapped into for that person. And now it's like, so it keeps us busy in a good way. It's great for the client. It's great for us. It's fun to stay engaged and just dreaming. It's like, okay, let's pivot. Let's do things better, different, maximize the tax.
Move up the good life pyramid too. Yeah.
That is true.
All right. So I'll kind of land the plane here with this last question. For someone listening who wants to not only grow wealth, but live meaningfully and generously, what is your advice for them to get started?
That's a really good one. I would say take a look at The Die with Zero, the book. We talk about it a lot on this podcast and around the firm. We sent it to all our clients. Was that last year at Thanksgiving? We mailed everyone a copy. Just such a great book that kind of makes you think a lot differently about wealth. And again, I probably said it a bunch on this pod before, but coming into this industry, it's You think you're going to be like the Dave Ramsey that's like cracking the whip and telling folks, you've got to save for retirement. You got to save 15%, this and that. And I find now in the day to day, I spend more of my time convincing folks to let go, whether that's being more charitably inclined or to spend more in retirement or to reduce the amount you're putting away into the 401k if you're still in those working years, because the plan is set and based on lifestyle. You got this. Go take that extra vacation or do that thing. And so it's a collaborative approach. It goes both ways, but I think it all kind of starts with that initial dream session.
Absolutely.
Like, hey, let's start paying attention to it. And another, kind of pitch for the ongoing planning is that relationship. It's not a one-time thing. It's that accountability. It's continuing to pay attention to it. I heard somebody say, like, when you get married, the reason you got married is because you were spending time with this person. You were focused on that person, and then boom, look what happens. Y'all get married. And so it's like you become what you're focused on and paying attention to. And I think just having those recurring sessions or meetings where you're looking at your plan, really just honing in on things, that's what's driving you. So
I like it. You're aware, because I've been sharing this with the team. So I'm working on a new book, starting to wrap it up, called the 7 Secrets of Happy Millionaires.
Still need my advanced early signed edition.
That's right. Yeah. You need to get that
hardback, please.
And I won't kind of go through all 7 right now, but it was interesting. I was kind of challenged with, well, out of these 7, some of them are a little more focused on, this is how you get to millionaire status. And then some of them are maybe a little more focused on, well, how do you get to millionaire status and you're happy? What's that happy factor of being a millionaire? And I think all 7 of them play a role, in the level of happiness of that millionaire. But I think one of the biggest ones is the generosity side of things.
Yeah.
It's the generosity side of things. And it's what you were sharing with the Die with Zero concept, where, we joke about that, saying what, like, coffins don't have pockets. Right.
Like that,
Yep. And so that's those, both of those concepts I have is kind of the generosity piece, and, make these memory dividends, do these meaningful things, have these meaningful experiences, build legacy, be generous before you die. Because, but like you said, sometimes it's hard to let go of this money that we've built, our nose to the grindstone, that big pile, to finally start spending it for so long. And we've been earning it and building it, but now we're supposed to stop earning, or we're supposed to start spending. And now the pile's getting smaller. It got bigger most of my life, but now it's getting smaller. So
but then you see folks all the time where it's like, gosh, you're still spending, you're in retirement. And this is that jackpot, that kind of financial independence moment. So many times we run those calculations. It's like, the hill's not going down. It's continuing to grow, even though you're not spending it fast. And it's like, what a great thing to have. And so, but the generosity, it's like, it requires those reps. It's the muscle that you've got to flex and you've got to start. And
absolutely.
I heard that was a sermon in church, I think last week, was like, just start. How do the same kind of question you asked me a minute ago of how do you begin? What do you do? And it's like to someone, it's like, you just start. Like, if you've not been charitably inclined, just start small, get going, pay attention to it. And so it's funny just seeing that, a lot of friends' lives and things and clients as well. It's like, once it starts, it grows. So it's fun.
That's awesome. Well, Ray, thank you so much for coming and joining us again and talking about how we help clients live through their rich. So listeners, we do have that blog on our website. So if you go to the Knowledge Center, you can kind of search for Find Your Rich. That'll probably pull up that blog, or you can just subscribe to the blog.
Please do that.
You get these awesome blogs.
That would be preferred if you do that.
Right. Yeah. And if you want to learn more, there's lots of resources there. My old book, Exponential Wealth, there you can download it. Hopefully soon.
Outdated.
New book. Outdated, Timeless, evergreen concepts there, of course. And if you want to begin a conversation, you can schedule an intro call. So wanted to thank Angela, our producer, and Tara, our content creator, for helping out with this great episode today. Evance helps to edit these. As we sign off, though, Ray, I always love kind of sharing some gratitude. And so I'll go first. I'll share what I'm grateful for. And this is kind of funny. I'm grateful for new tires on my truck. I'm not grateful for how much new tires cost. I mean, that's insane.
Yeah.
That is insane how expensive they are. But if you can be prepared and have money set aside, because you start to get worried about your tires. Like, are they going to pop? Am I going to slide on the water? What if my wife and kids are driving the car? Like, is this car as safe as possible? And I was trying to stretch it out, like any good millionaire next door would, right?
Yep. Amortizing cost over time. Yeah.
And I got the great oil change guys that were like, I think you got like 2 more oil changes, Tim, before you need to replace these. So I had a good heads up, but I'm kind of just at that one oil change, and I got a nail in the side of one of them. And they're like, man, your tire is too worn out for us to plug this. Maybe you jump the gun now. But now driving around with 4 new fresh set, because it doesn't last long, right? All of a sudden
you got to rotate them now properly. You got to stay on top of that maintenance schedule.
Hey, I've got some good tread on these tires. It makes you feel good driving around.
Rotate them frequently.
Got to be grateful for the small things.
Thankful for the tire rotation schedule.
How about
you? You just reminded me that I need to rotate my tires.
Everyone,
thank you for that.
That's the takeaway.
I'm grateful
today.
for that tip. But no, super grateful for this season we're in here. It's getting to serve so many new clients. Things are busy and well, and it's just good problems to have when you're doing fun stuff you're passionate about. Doesn't feel like work, and that's how you know you're the crazy person or the nerd that's landed in this kind of seat. It's like most folks cannot stand this type of stuff, but if you secretly love it, it's like you're not going anywhere. But grateful for that, and just the season we're in with a new baby on the way.
That's why you're a little extra busy, right? Because you're about to take paternity leave.
We're ready. We're ready for it. But super grateful for friends, family, great support systems, the team here. It's just been truly, truly great. So ready to go on the other side.
Yes,
soon,
sir.
So.
All right. Well, we appreciate you so much. Thank you, listeners. Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Money Pig Podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. To stay updated on new episodes, be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. If you found value in today's discussion, we'd greatly appreciate it if you could leave a rating and review. If you have any questions about the topics we covered, feel free to visit us at goodwininvestment.com and reach out. This episode is produced by evance.net. This podcast is provided for informational purposes only and should not be considered as investment advice, a solicitation to buy or sell any financial products, securities, digital assets, or other investment vehicles, nor as a basis for making any financial decisions. Goodwin Investment Advisory is a registered investment advisor with the SEC, CRD number 131193. Please note that the host and or guests may personally own securities, digital assets, or other investments mentioned in this podcast. Investments carry risk and are not guaranteed unless stated otherwise. We strongly recommend consulting with a qualified financial advisor, tax professional, insurance professional, and/or legal professional before implementing any strategies discussed in this episode. Lastly, past performance is not indicative of future results.